All right, Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so by Hashem Yahweh Shai, that's Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is Priest Kazak Magun of the Angels of Yahweh, right? And coming at you with another sit-down lesson. Today we're going to go into this video, but the title of this lesson is going to be basically black people, we got to do better, man. We got to do better with, our actions, the choices we making, especially with raising our kids and showing them what's proper and what's improper to do. Showing them what's good behavior and what's bad behavior. I'm going to use this video as an example. Right, I'm going to get into this. Let me present my screen. Share screen. Right, you probably seen this video. It's been going all around on the internet, with this, birthday party. With this birthday party that's that I guess they were celebrating. And they had the Toy Story characters up there. Right, let me click on the video. Let me pause it and go back. Hold on. Make it full screen so y'all can see it. Right. It says, moment Jesse and Woody twerk at NOLA Toy Story themed children's birthday. NOLA is New Orleans, Louisiana. That's just short for that. Right. So this is in New Orleans. This is going on. She's working on the mascot. The mascot's working. That's a man. It's like I believe that was a man just twerking. So you see what our people will be dealing with, man. These are everyday activities of our people. Our people, they do this every day. You got the birthday party, especially since summer coming up. Our people, we finna be having birthday parties left and right. Children's parties at that. Like, is this any way to be acting at a children's party? For real? Like, what are you teaching your kids? What are you showing them? Because children, they learn by mimicking their parents. That's how they learn. You ain't got no business celebrating no birthdays anyways, but you doing this at the birthday party? Come on now, let's go to the scriptures on that, though. Let me share my screen again so y'all can see it. All right, let's go to the blue letter. Let's go to Proverbs. I think I'm on 22:6. Right, this is Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Let's read this in another translation. Right. Let's read this in the NLT, my favorite translation. It says, direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. So we got to direct our children as parents, as role models, right? As the elders. We have to direct our children on the right path, but our people, we don't know the right path because our elders before us, they didn't know the right path. And this is the snowball effect that our people have to go through, and it gets worse and worse through every generation. Let me go to this quick precept. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 16. I think it's verse 13. It might be verse 16. No, it was 16. It says, for the leaders of this people caused them to err. Isaiah 9:16. For the leaders of this people caused them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. Because usually your elders are the ones that lead you, right? Your elders, they instruct you right from wrong. You know, everybody had Big Mama, you know, that's quick to pop your hands when you saying something wrong. You know, she'll pop you in your mouth. We don't have those elders no more in our generation. Nowadays, you know, the grandmas are 30. They 30 years old. They kids, they had their baby at 15, and then they baby had a baby at 14. You know, so you got 30-year-old grandmas, they don't know right from wrong. They don't have no type of wisdom, none of that. You know, so they're not instilling no type of morals within our people, you know, and this is a snowball effect, and it all comes from, you know, the situation that the so-called white man put us in. Yeah, you know, we got a lot to blame ourselves, but it's all of these philosophies that the so-called white man is pushing upon our people, you know, and all these doctrines and all of these different different ways of living that they try to make popular, you know, and that they put in front of our people to be in awe of. You know, that all comes from them. You know, the way that they push this mainstream music. You know, right now they find every year they find a new woman to basically push out in the mainstream. You know, last year you had Glorilla, then this year it was Sexy Red. The year before that it was probably Meg Thee Stallion, Lotto, all of them. And what do all they teach? They teach young women how to not be ladies. You know, they teach them how to be whores, how to be adulterous women, promiscuous women. You know, and this is what they want to push out, because these are the acts and these are the characteristics they want our people to take on and to live by. You know, and all of that is just a snowball effect, man. You know, it's going to get worse and worse with every generation. You know, you just had women. Let's go back to the video. They twerking in front of their children, man. What are they showing the young children? They're not showing the young children no way how to act. Right? Look at that. What are these young children? They gonna think that's normal. That this is all cool. Like the little boy, he went back there and started smacking on Jessie, started smacking on her butt, rubbing it. You know, and I see women, they do that to each other in the strip club. Older men, they do that to women while they women twerking and all that. You know, we can't do these type of things when children are watching, man. You know, we can't do this thing. We gotta be rightful leaders and showing our children, you know, how to act in public and how to act in private, you know, and how to, you know, develop character and develop discipline and morals, man. You know, we lost our morals. We lost our moral code when we lost these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. Right? So, like, let me grab this other quick precept. So, like, yeah. I'll be better off typing it in on Google. What was that I want? What was the precept I was just looking for? So, like, yeah, this just threw my mind off. All right, Con. So it's cool. I forgot it. Lord willing, they come back to me. The precept I was just about to get. But so yeah, as leaders, you know, we gotta direct our children and direct our young ones on which way to go, man. You know, we gotta show them and instill within them the moral. Oh, I remember now. All praise to the Most High. All right, all praise. Let me grab this real quick. That's Iraq. It might be 17 out of 11. Right. This is the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, right? Chapter 17 and verse 11. It says, he set before them knowledge and allotted to them the law of life, right, for a heritage, right? This is supposed to say for a heritage. I believe this maybe the GNT. This might be the GNT translation. Let's see if I can get the regular KJV. Right here it is. All right. It's Sirach 17 and 11. It says, beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage, right? And this is supposed to be our heritage. Twerking, having, twerking and smoking weed, getting drunk, popping pills and partying all night. That's not our heritage. Our heritage is the law of life, which is what these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High God Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua gave to us as a nation to keep, man. He said that these laws, let me grab this real quick. These laws will be our wisdom in the sight of the nations, man. When we keeping these laws, the nations will look at us as a wise and understanding people. Let's grab that real quick. This is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. It says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whether you go to possess it. Right? It says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. You think they looking at us while we doing stuff like this? Salakia. You think they're looking at us while we doing things like this and saying this is a wise and understanding people? They not. They not. I'm going to tell you how they looking at us right now. Let's go to Lamentations 2 and 17, I think. It's like it's the 4th chapter that I want. Let's go to the 4th chapter. 4 and 15, I believe. It's like I'm tripping. It was the 2nd chapter. Lamentations 2 and 15. Right, Lamentations 2 and 15. I was right on it. Right, it's Lamentations chapter 2 verse 15. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. So I said, everybody that passed by, all the other nations that's looking at us, that's looking at our daily lives, looking at our actions, looking at our struggle, looking at things we do for fun. Right? It say they hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. They clapping their hands. They laughing. They pointing and laughing at our people, laughing at at the situation that they got us in. Because they know that their nation will never be caught doing that. They know that their nation is not, that their nation will never be, twerking with cartoon characters in front of their children, showing their children all that. Like how they got TikTok in America is way different than TikTok in Japan and China. In Japan and China, you can't even see twerking videos on TikTok. There's nothing that's not educational on TikTok in China. They ban everything else. When in America, they allow all these things on TikTok because why? It's going to further destroy our people and deteriorate our minds away from these laws, statutes, and commandments, man, that we're supposed to be keeping. It says, this Lamentations 2 and 15. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty? They're looking at us like, these God-chosen people? And this what they doing? These God-chosen people, and they twerking on each other? Doing the sandwich twerking and all that? You got one girl on top of another girl, and they all twerking. doing a sandwich twerk. It say, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty? These the women that's supposed to be modest. These the women that claim that the Most High claim is above all other women. It say the joy of the whole earth. We the joy of the whole earth right now, man. Right? We entertainment to these people. We ain't nothing but singers and dancers and entertainment to the other nations, man. It says, all thine enemies. Who are our enemies? The other nations. It says, verse 16, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. Meaning what? They talking down on us. They looking at us and talking down on us with every little goofy ass thing that we do, man. They talking down on us. It say, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. Right? They say, we got them. We got them exactly where we want them. We got them destroyed. Because why? They know if we're not keeping the Most High God's commandments, they getting more and more time in their power, in their kingdom, man, in their heaven. You know, they know that we not on the good, Most High's good side. The Most High is not with us as long as we not keeping his commandments, man, as a majority. Right? Let's go to that real quick. These nations know, man. They know exactly who we are. You think they don't? Slack you. Right, this is the book of Judah. No, I said Judah chapter 5. Right, this is the book of Judah chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse... I'm going to start at verse 17. It says, and whilst they sin not before their God, they prosper. Talk about the children of Israel, us, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. While we not sinning, it say we go prosper. It say because the God that hateth iniquity was with them. And he with us, man. The God that hates iniquity, the God that hates sin, the God that hates when you disobey him. Because sin is the transgression of his laws. Meaning what? When you disobey God's laws, right? When you start eating pork, you're disobeying God's laws. When you start buying prostitutes and having sex with prostitutes and doing drugs, you're disobeying God's laws, right? When you start wearing mixed fabrics and when you start buying and selling on the Sabbath day, you're disobeying God's laws. You're doing all of this. When you start worshiping another God, you're disobeying God's laws. He hates that. That is all labeled as iniquity, right? It says, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, which was the way he appointed us, keeping his commandments, right? It say they were destroyed in many battles, very sore. We end up destroyed when we go from keeping the Most High's commandments. That's why the white man are ruling over us now. And you got the Chinese man setting up beauty shops and Chinese restaurants all in your neighborhood, getting rich off of you. You got the Arab man setting up corner stores and little grocery marts all in their neighborhood, making chopped cheeses and making Dorito nachos and making hot chips with cheese, you know, and he getting rich off of you. He getting rich off you selling Lucy cigarettes and Black and Milds and Swisher packs. He getting rich off of you. You know, it say, and we're led captives into a land that was not theirs. We in America right now. This land ain't ours. We was led captive here. It say, and the temple of their God was cast to the ground. Our temple, we don't even have a temple right now. The Romans burned it down in 70 AD, man, during the Roman Jewish wars. We got kicked out of the Holy Land. We had to flee. And they burned down our temple, man. And ransacked it first. They took all the gold out of it. You can see that on the Ark of Titus, man. Let me pull that up real quick. Or you got the Ark of Titus, where it showed the Romans taking all the menorahs and all the other gold out of our temple, man. Right here. This is what they like to remember. They remember, them taking us down. You see that right there? That's a menorah. A 7-branch menorah, man. Right? Today, the so-called Jewish man, he keeps a 9-branch menorah because he's not the real people. We are the real people. Right? And these are Romans, white people, the so-called white man, taking all of our victuals, all of our gold, all of our treasure out of our temple and bringing it unto his homeland. Right? And they still got it unto this day. They still got all our stuff. Right? You got about 5 men right here carrying this menorah. This menorah has to be about 300 to 500 pounds, probably, of all solid gold. Read about it. Solomon, he had these things built and constructed, man. You read about that in the book of 1 Kings, the 3rd chapter, all the way down to the 8th chapter. The way Solomon had everything constructed in the temple, man, when it was being built. And they took everything out of it. Let's go back to Judah. It say, verse 18, but when they departed from the way which was appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs, and the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by their enemies. This is why you got other nations. They fighting over our land right now. You got the Palestinians and the so-called white Jewish man, the Amalekites. They fighting over our land. And it don't belong to neither one of their ass. It belong to us. You got Palestinians marching every week, talking about stop the violence in Israel. First off, if it was up to us, you wouldn't even be there. And the so-called white man that's over there, the Jewish man, he wouldn't be there either. Because that land belongs to us. But what? We were sinning against our God, and we had to get put up out the land, man. We had to get put out. Verse 19, but now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where the sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Verse 20, it say, now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error against this people, this is how I show they know right here. It said, if it be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. Right? It say, if they sin against their God, if it's any error against us, this shall be our ruin. And they knew that. They knew we were sinning. Columbus, he knew that the Northern Kingdom was over here sinning, man. He knew they was over here going off. You think he didn't? You don't think he read this? He had the Apocrypha in his possession. And he came over here and conquered the Northern Kingdom. Christopher Columbus and Cortez and all the other Spaniards and the Italians, when they came over here, they knew exactly what was going on. That's why he came with Hebrew interpreters, man. They showed that in the movie Apocalypto, how right at the end, Northern Kingdom was over there sacrificing each other. They was eating pork, killing each other, going to war with each other, taking each other slaves. And then at the end of the movie, what you got? The so-called white man coming over on boats. Why? To conquer the whole land, man. Why? Because y'all was over there going off. Over here going off, man. And we was over there going off on the western coast of Africa. Probably worshiping all the Canaanite gods. Doing all kind of witchcraft and all that. It say, now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest the Lord defend them and their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world. So it said, if they not sinning, hey, let us just leave them alone, because the Most High God, he go defend them. and we gonna look like fools out there because he gonna put us to shame. So they know if they keep us in sin, our God is not with us, and they gonna have us conquer still, man. And that's what's going on right now. You see things like this. This is exactly what they want right here. This is exactly what they want us to be doing. Celebrating birthdays when that's against the Bible, right? And then twerking, not showing our children, the right way to be, right? And this is what happened when you take men out of the household and you let the women raise the children by herself. Because, she doesn't really have any instruction. Someone has to point her the right way to go. She might have some type of morals, but they run off of emotion. When men, we run off logic. Let me grab this real quick. This is book Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12. It's Isaiah 3 and 12. It says, as for my people, who are the Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? As for my people, children are their oppressors, right? How our children are oppressors? Nowadays, back then when you talk about having a baby, you thought about it as a blessing. Oh, we can't wait to have a baby. It's going to be, in the ancient world, people loved having kids. If a woman didn't have kids, she was looked at wrong. She was looked at silly. That's why Rachel was looking at Jacob. She was like, give me children unless I die. She said, give me children or else I'll die. Because why? A woman, she longed for something to do. And her children were her pride and joy back then. That was a woman's main duty, to have children, take care of her husband, take care of the family, and maintain a household. Nowadays, you have women that, they quick to go to the abortion clinic. They don't want the baby. And when they do, you got women like Drea. She said she want the baby, but she don't want the man. So she got pregnant by this NBA player and told him, we can't be a family. I just wanted a baby. These are the type of mindsets that we dealing with now in today's time. It's nothing like the ancient world. This Isaiah 3 and 12. As for my people, children are the oppressors. So back then, children would be a blessing. You would look at them as a blessing. But now what? When you get a woman pregnant, you think about, damn, how I'm finna pay for these, how I'm finna pay for the diapers, how I'm finna pay for all of this. I ain't got no money for no baby right now. It's like your children are your oppressors. And another way to look at it, it's like, that we're not supposed to be celebrating holidays, and it's true. But you feel what you start to think, oh, I don't want them to be left out. They're gonna be at school, all the other kids go give Christmas presents and Christmas party and Valentine's Day party and this and that. I don't want them to feel left out. So why? You let your children guilt trip you into breaking the commandments and going off. When the Most High God say don't celebrate these holidays and these feast days of the other nations. But what you thinking about your children being left out? Your children wouldn't feel left out if they knew right from wrong. You tell them, hey, little Tommy, we don't do that. We don't do that because the Most High God told us this. We keep the new moon. We keep the Passover. We keep the Feast of Pentecost. We keep the Hanukkah, right? We keep all these. We keep the Feast of Purim, right? We keep the Feast of Tabernacles, right? We got all these feast days that we keep. The other feast days of the world, those are not our feast days. You may see everybody else celebrating them, but they not doing the right thing. We doing the right thing. That's what you got to instill that within your kids, and they won't feel left out. People like to think that children don't understand. Your children are going to understand. They understand a lot more than what you think. They smarter than what you think they are. It says, as for my people, children are their oppressors. So don't let your children be your oppressor by allowing what you think they feel like guilt trip you into making you break the Most High God's laws. It says, and women rule over them, right? Women are ruling over the men right now. They ruling over the men. Because why? The women, they give them more rights than the men with the way this government set up. They get the Section 8 and the food stamps and all that. And you got to jump through hula hoops to be a man to get, a link card. You got to be damn near homeless. You do got to be homeless, matter of fact, to get a link card if you're a man. so-called black men, right? It says women ruled over them. They give women better jobs than us. You know, a man, you get your felony, you can't get a job. They giving these women the high powered jobs and all that. They getting executive and CEO positions and all of that. When men, we got to start base level and, things like that. Women rule over them. And a lot of men, they can't control their women in their house. The women talking over them, talking back to them and all that. You can't put her in check. She ruling over you. She feel like because, she bringing in more money than you, that she's the head of the household now. This is all the ideology of the so-called white man. And he did the same thing in the garden with Adam and Eve. The same exact thing. Right? The serpent went and got Eve, went and whispered in Eve's ear. You don't gotta listen to the Most High laws. You ain't gonna die right then and there. You can do this, you can do what you want to do. You can live how you want to live. And she took that back to Adam. And they both went off, man. It says, "Oh, my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err." The people that's leading us cause us to err, man. Our elders, they go along with this. They cool with that, right? Everybody think about Big Mama, but hold on, where's Granddaddy at? He nowhere to be found. Big Mama leading the family, which lead to the next woman in line under her to lead the family, which lead to the next woman in line under her to lead the family. Where's the men at? The Most High said, it's like it. Let me see if I can find this precept. This is Numbers 27:16. It says, let the Lord, the God of spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation. Right? The Lord didn't choose a woman to rule over our people. Right? The Lord chose a man to rule over our people. Right? Because that's how it goes. That's how the family structure is. Right? Let me go to this real quick. 1 Corinthians. First Corinthians 11:3. Right, 1 Corinthians 11:3. It says, "But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ." Right, so man is at the top of the family structure, right? And who is above him? Christ, the Most High. It says, and the head of the woman is the man. So right up under, so you have the Most High God, you have Yahushua, who is known as Christ, and then you have man, and then you have the woman, and then you have the children, right? That's the family structure. That's how it goes. It says, but I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God, right? So this is the family structure. These are how the Most High God intended things to be, not how, the so-called, women, they want to feel like they're the head of the household if they're bringing in more money than the husband. And I heard women say these things. I heard women speak like this. Women, they feel like they don't got to be submissive unless you make more money than them. If they make more money than you, they feel like they don't have to be submissive to you. They feel like they're the man in the household. They the one in charge. They wearing the pants. They bring home the bacon. Well, that's not the Most High. The Most High ain't say nothing about money. The Most High ain't say nothing about what you bring to the table. The Most High said the man is the head of the house, the woman is under him, and the children under her. That's the order. There's no stipulations to it. It ain't no clauses. It ain't no loopholes to it. That's how it is. And that's how it's going to remain in the eyes of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Right? Let me see. But it was prophecy that this was going to happen. It's like, let me see if I can find this precept. Bear with me. It's in Isaiah. Oh, compass. I put surpass. Salakia. Jeremiah 31 and 22. Right? All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, and verse 22. It says, how long wilt thou go about? Let me see if I want to start earlier. No, it's cool. It says, Jeremiah 31 and 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord have created a new thing in the earth, right? So the Most High created a new thing. It say, a woman shall compass a man, right? And how does a woman compass a man? Nowadays, like I said, the women are the head of the household now. You know, they taking charge because our men, we growing up feeble. We growing up weak. We being raised by women because our fathers ain't in the household. We don't have no proper male role models. We don't have nobody to instill manliness within us. So we grow up effeminate. We grow up emotional and weak. Right? So what? It said a woman shall compass a man. So now these women, they getting the CEO jobs. You know, they being head of the household, they raising the children. You know, not teaching the children everything that she knows. You know, she can't raise a man. She can't raise a boy how to be a man because she's not a man herself. You know, a boy needs to see a man in order to be a man, right? So this is something that the Most High put. He said, a woman shall compass a man, right? Let's go back to this video, though, because this is just crazy. We're going to watch it one more time. I'm not trying to hear y'all advertising. Put this on full screen. And look, she telling the little boy. She telling him to go get behind that. I doubt that his father is in his house. Is in a house. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, but this is what our people are doing. This is what our people are doing, man. Right? It's like you. Right. Stop sharing my screen. So let me get one last closing precept. Because I don't want this to be too long. Right. Bear with me. All right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just get the judgment of what's gonna happen to all these people, man. All right, let me present my screen again. All right, let's go to the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 9. Because ultimately, this is what's going to happen, man. Right? If these things like this continue on, this is what's going to happen. This is Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. It says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. And let's talk about us where we at right now. Because we are a people before we are a city. So when the Lord says, go through the midst of Jerusalem, let's talk about go through where the Israelites are at. Right? It says, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So you got men, you got people that are sighing and crying, right? That are crying out, against everything, all the wickedness that's happening to our people and all the wickedness that our people are doing. People that's shaking the hand, people that's complaining, people that's trying to judge our people that's trying to direct our people and lead our people the right way and tell them to turn away from their wickedness. You got people that's doing that. The Lord said, go through the midst of the city and set a mark upon them. And what kind of mark is that? That's a mark, a spiritual mark of exemption from judgment, exemption from death, right? Exemption from the sword that the Lord is getting ready to put on the other people, right? In verse 5, it say, and to the others, he said, in my hearing, go ye after him through the city. So the Lord told other angels, go you after him through the city and smite. Meaning what? Smite. Let's get this word for smite. And smite. I believe that's the word hakah. Right? It says to strike, smite, hit, beat, slay, kill. Right? So this is what that means. Right? To slay, to kill. Right? So he's telling this angel to go through the midst of the city and slay and kill. Right? To smite. It say, let not your eye spare, neither have you pity. Don't have pity for the people I'm telling you to kill, to slay. Don't have no pity for them. Don't feel sorry for them. Because why? They had every chance to turn away. They had every chance to turn away, from their wickedness and come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. But they chose not to. It say, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. The ancient men, they started with the elders, man, because they really supposed to know better, right? It's a slay utterly old and young. The Most High don't care what age you are. The Most High killing old ladies. The Most High killing young babies. The Most High killing man, and the Most High killing women. It's a and little children and women. Slay utterly old and young. Met both maids and little children and women. But he said what? But come not near any man upon whom is the mark. Because why? They've been sighing and crying. They've been rising up against all the evil that's been going on. Right? But like I said, these people, they had every chance. Most I said, don't pity them. Don't pity them. Because they had every chance to turn from their wickedness, man. They had every chance to. Let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, and this will be my last one. 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, and verse 10. I didn't say 14, 15. Right, this is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse. I'm going to start at 9. It says, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways. When what? You took advantage of the Most High's commandments and chose not to do them. You took advantage of the Most High's grace, and chose not to take that time to get right, to repent and start keeping His laws, statutes, and commandments. You said, "Hey, I got grace. I could keep sinning and doing whatever I want to do." So now you're gonna be in pitiful case. It says, "And they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments." You're gonna dwell in torments. It say, for such as in their life have received benefits. What? You received grace. The Most High even blessed you a few times, and you still chose not to keep His commandments. Right? The Most High done gave you a house, a roof over your head, a job, a car, children, and you still chose not to keep His commandments. He probably made you financially sound and financially stable, and you still chose not to keep His commandments. It say, "And have not known me, and they that have loathed my law." Loathe means to hate, right? It say, "They that have loathed my law, hated my law, while they had yet liberty." You had liberty. You had freedom to repent. You had grace to get right. And as yet place of repentance was open to them, when they still had the space to repent, it say, "Understood not, but despised it." They still despise the law. They don't understand why the Most High God don't want them to eat pork, so they just go continue to eat pork. They don't understand why the Most High God don't want them twerking at the strip club, so they just go continue to be sliding up and down the pole. They don't understand why the Most High God don't want you to be pimps, so they go continue to sell their women, how they do it, and get the money. They don't understand that. They despised it, man. They say, if all this is easy for me to get money this way, selling drugs, all I got to do is package it up and sell it, go out there and sell it. Not knowing you poisoning your own people and killing your own people, which is witchcraft. You putting them in a trance, they do that drug, and you putting them in a trance. You're making their body feel a different way from those drugs. You're a witch. That's what a witch do. They cook up the potions in that big ass pot. They cooking it up, and then they give it to you, and you get all dizzy. That's the same thing. A drug dealer ain't nothing but a modern day witch. It says, when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. Verse 12. The same must know it after death by pain. Right? It say the same must know. They got to learn a lesson after death by pain. Meaning what? The Most High, He's going to kill them, wake them back up, and then toss them into the lake of fire. That's the death by pain right there. By pain. That's the pain that they going to feel being tossed in the lake of fire, which is going to be America, on fire through nuclear warfare from Russia, NATO, and the EU, and all the other nations, Iran. Everybody that's going to turn on America and be against America in those days. They're going to send nukes over here and turn America into the lake of fire. And that's where all the ungodly and all the people that chose and all the other nations that are here, they're going to all be tossed into that lake of fire, man. That's called the second death. Right? It says, "And therefore be not curious how the ungodly shall be punished," because that's their punishment. It says, "And when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved." That's what you should be worried about. How the righteous shall be saved, because the ungodly, the way they're getting punished, hey, it's already written. It say, "And whose the world is, and for whom the world is created," right? Because the world was created for us, the Israelites. We just got to get right, so we get set back on our throne, right? We just got to get right, so we get set back on our throne, man. It's that simple. It's the Lord said, "Keep my commandments and live, and my law is the apple of thine eye." Right. So with that, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua. Right. It's Kazak Magun of the angels of Yahweh. Back at you with another lesson. Right. I'm gonna give Israel a hearty shalom. Right. Hey, keep the commandments and keep the faith, man. Right. Shalom.